Well, I was doing all right until Lauren quoted a Van Morrison line. Thanks a lot. Robert grew up in a pretty typical Catholic family, 5 children. He was the eldest. Then came Marianne 3 years later. Myself a year after that. A year later came Margaret. And 6 years later came our baby brother, John. If you think about Robert, he was a big brother his whole life. Everything he did, he was always the leader, always there to support, always there to give advice, even though it wasn't always right. But he was, I think his upbringing as a big brother in our family was something that really shaped him throughout his life. It's something he embellished and loved to do. So some of y'all might not know about Robert, some of you probably may, but Robert was a really great athlete. In high school, he was the captain of the only Mount Carmel team that ever won state title, 1969. He wasn't the best athlete on the team, but he was the leader. He was the guy who took the ball up and distributed it to the other guys on the team. And look back, Mount Carmel's 80-year history. They write a book in it about it, then Robert would be in a chapter as the champion athlete of the school. So it was a major accomplishment. And he had a lot of little victories in life too. He had great family, great daughters, great grandkids, and he was like everybody else. I think about Robert, and somebody was talking about non-judgment. He was not a judgmental guy. He wasn't afraid to get on you if you were screwing up. But he was non-judgmental. Everybody that came in our doors was welcome at Southwest, and that was a big part of the success of that company. And just something about Southwest. Southwest had started off as distributing 45 records in San Antonio with Richard Powers and Robert, and they grew to become a one-stop, which was a company that distributed major label product. And one of our customers, had a flea market store in Houston, Russell Washington, but Big Time Records, and he kept trying to talk Robert into carrying music, to distributing local music. Robert was concerned about the returns coming back. There's always a saying in our business, sell silver, return gold. And so he was a little leery of that, but Russell got him to pick up this title, and he bought in 500 cassettes was his first order. It was UGK. At the time was an unknown group. And you can say that those 500 pieces were sold out before Russell even reached the door leaving the building. Our salesman knew what they had. They got on the phones and pushed it out, and it wasn't there for an hour. I think the next order was for 5,000, and that also flew out the door. But, Southern music from the South at Southwest Wholesale, that story cannot be told without a chapter on Robert. He was very much a driving force in the success of that music in the 90s. Not only rap, is gospel, country, Texas country music, and rock and roll, whatever. Everybody was welcome in the door. Spanish music was big. And so Robert was there, and he was the big brother. He was heading it all. Everybody came to him. He had an open door policy. Robert had had an office upstairs, but the door was never closed. It was always open. And so he was a great guy. I'll miss him. We talked to him every day, several times a day. and I'm really going to miss the guy. He was my big brother, my best friend. So thank you all for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.